Aging Gas, and Captain America: Death Too Soon. Those movies were very fun. Didn't get a backdoor pilot though. Um, the one that actually did work was Incredible Hulk, which retconned everything, changed his name from David Banner to Bruce Banner, added Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno, lasted 5 seasons and 3 TV movies, and is one of the best shows I've ever seen. And is probably the best version of the Hulk, despite being so loose. And of course, there was Spider-Man. Now, unlike Doctor Strange and Captain America, and like the Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man's TV pilot led to a series, but unfortunately, due to lack of ratings, it only lasted about 2 seasons with like 13 episodes. But to the show's credit, it tried. Not that the show was bad or anything. It's just sort of lackluster in the sense that it could just use more villains. Now, due to the insane budget being, having to put for all eccentric villains like Vulture or Green Goblin or Dr. Octopus or Electro, that would be a TV miracle. Though realistically, it would only be practical and sufficient if they had villains like Kraven the Hunter, Chameleon, or Mysterio. At least they fit the vibe of the show. Now, pretty much this show takes out Uncle Ben entirely. Aunt May only appears once in the TV movie, and pretty much, it's very slow and very boring, but I thought the theme song was pretty cool. Now, as this film got a TV movie, which was a backdoor pilot for the show, it had another TV film. As the first film, they both aired theatrically in cinemas. And eventually, they had a third and final film based on the last 2 episodes of the show. That being the Dragon's Challenge. And I got really bored. I don't even remember the plot. Something about espionage, in Chinatown. Yeah. So, due to the fact that it was very forgettable and very boring, but still ambitious, Dragon's Challenge is probably the worst one due to the fact that it has nothing to offer. Plus, if I found anything, it'd probably be outdated. So, yeah. Sorry, Dragon's Challenge. Oh yeah, and to his credit, Nicholas Hammond. I actually thought he was an okay Peter Parker. I thought he was very charming, and the story had more things to do. I would love to see him more in action. Plus, I really wish he was in No Way Home. You got Toby, you got Andrew, you got Tom. Why not Nick? Okay? Across the Spider-Verse had Josh Keaton. Okay? Oh yeah. How come in Across the Spider-Verse we got Josh Keaton, but we didn't get a cameo from Christopher Daniel Barnes? I'm not very happy about that. Yeah. On to the next list. Number 12. Spider-Man Strikes Back. Now, as the Dragon's Challenge was based off the last few episodes of Season 2, the first 2 episodes after the pilot was a 2-parter called The Deadly Dust, and pretty much to boost up ticket sales, they comprised those 2 episodes, mushed them together, and portrayed it as a movie, known as Spider-Man Strikes Back. Now, unlike the Dragon's Challenge, I actually remember the plot, and pretty much the plot is that Peter's college classmates are dismayed when a teacher is allowed to experiment with plutonium. And to prove its nuclear capabilities, they build a bomb. That doesn't sound proactive. And eventually, a man named Mr. White, who's the villain, tries to steal the bomb with his karate stuntman called Angel. And every time Spider-Man and Angel fights, he just sort of jumps around, does karate, that sort of thing, and just sort of stands there and lets himself be beaten by Spider-Man. Or maybe because he knows that Spider-Man doesn't know martial arts. Either way, oh yeah, it even has Spider-Man going to Los Angeles. And, to the show's credit, it's probably one of the only live-action Spider-Mans, next to Homecoming, and I think Spider-Verse, I forgot. I'll look into it, to include the Spider Tracker, like he did in the 60s comics. Now, I don't think this movie is pretty good because it is exceedingly dull. But, to its credit, at least I remember some things, and it's not terrible. It's just very lacking in many aspects. Now, without further ado, on to number 11. As you can tell by the, structure of this ranking list, you can tell what's up next. Number 11, Spider-Man, 1977. Now, as you might have seen this coming, or might have not seen this coming, but I think the worst three Spider-Man films are this trilogy. Not that they're bad, but just in the sense that they don't feel like Spider-Man. Now, I know it's the 1970s, and 1970s shows were really slow, including Incredible Hulk, at a lot of times, actually, and as a true Hulk fan. But, to be honest, I really think that when it comes to making Spider-Man, you have to understand your characters, and you have to understand your story, and you have to understand the pacing, that sort of thing. Not that the characters are terrible or anything, or completely forgettable. I mean, I remember some things. I remember it has the lead lady from Beverly Hills Cop, but there's just not a lot to it, and it doesn't really dive deep into character or anything. I mean, it does throughout the progression of the show, but in the movie, I'm not really that invested. But to the first movie's credit, it is the most memorable, because it has the most action. We have Spider-Man saving a guy from jumping off a building. You got Spider-Man fighting off ninjas with swords. I don't remember that. That's weird.